Hi, Geraldine, and thank you so much for coming along today, taking time out your busy schedule to join us at SmartSTEMs, just to get you to answer a few questions about your journey into STEM. And before we start, I hear that you are celebrating 25 years with Mabbett. That's a
That is
long
great.
time.
That
Yeah,
is
so
great.
congratulations. Yeah, that 25 years is a long time, so well done. So just if you want to introduce yourself and just tell us a wee bit about what it is that you do at Mabbett.
Brilliant. Thanks so much for the welcome. And it's great to be part of the SmartSTEMs project. So I'm Geraldine Boylan, and I'm an environmental consultant, really, by trade. I work in the environmental sector. And my job title, Mel, is Director for the Environment. So it's actually one of 5 groups in Mabbett, which is an environmental consultancy that I work within.
That's fantastic. So could you just tell us a wee bit about your journey into the role that you're currently in? Yeah, was there anybody that inspired you along the way? Like, how did you end up where you are today?
It's a really good question, and I think you've just noted it's been 25 years since I've been working in the sector. But thinking back to the beginning, I've always really enjoyed science, and I really like science because I like its ability to use evidence and to actually explain phenomenon and to use theories to kind of explain and project what's actually happening, and especially with its regard to the natural world. And I've always had an interest in kind of protecting planet Earth and learning about that. I was interested in geography at school, for example, as well as the sciences and maths. And I also have found that I really love business. And I
Mhm.
love kind of really connecting business and business processes with environment. So together, I love to actually be able to work with businesses and to show that good business and good environmental protection go hand in hand and can be that's a really, really good combination for me, and it's great to work within.
Amazing. So, obviously, 25 years ago, like, did you have to do any training to get into Mabbett initially? Was it an apprenticeship, or did you go to college or university? What was your experiences to kind of like start your career with
So
Mabbett?
I've done, yeah, that's a really good question. And especially for those who are starting to choose subjects, it's really
Yeah.
important that you pick like science subjects or that you keep engaged with that side of your studies. And
Hmm.
even if you've not done it at school, you could pick it up later as well. So that's a really important thing. It is important to have that training behind what you're actually doing. And university was actually my route. So I did GCSEs, then I did A levels because I was at school in England. And then after A levels, then I chose to go to university, and I wanted to do environmental science, but there wasn't many courses in those days with just pure
Yeah.
environmental science. So I actually chose physics with environmental science. So I still got it kind of jammed into the course. And I absolutely loved all my environmental science subjects. And so that was at Manchester. So I went to Manchester first. And then from there, I actually struggled to find a job in environmental science or even in, anything connected with environment as a sector. It just was really, really early stage and it was so fledgling. It hadn't really developed as a sector. So as a result, there wasn't the opportunity for doing apprenticeships and things like that, which I think are very helpful and maybe more available today, which is
Absolutely.
fantastic because it's really, things have really moved on. You'll see this, yourself. So after doing that, I really struggled to find work, and I ended up working in different sectors. I did a lot of voluntary work as well, so I did some work in textiles as jobs,
Hmm.
and I thought I don't really want to end up working in textiles, but I worked at as many other opportunities as I could, and I did loads of volunteer work. I worked as a first mate on the Nolly barge in Glasgow
Wow.
as a volunteer.
Cool.
So I was a captain's first mate on a barge, so driving a barge for community projects. I did teaching English. I did sort of support for a boy with dyslexia. I just did
Wow.
everything that I could. I did first aid courses through the volunteer centre, everything that I could to just build my skills. So I was thinking I'm still looking for this opportunity. And I ended up actually applying for a job in the Antarctic with the British Antarctic Survey as a
Wow.
meteorologist. And I was going to be in the Antarctic down south, as they call it, at the bottom of the planet for 3 years without coming home. So I ended up being the fourth on a list of 3 people. And I'd decided before that, I thought if I don't get that job, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to university and do a specific environmental science or environmental studies course. And that's what I did. And I got funding from the Glasgow Development Agency, which I was very grateful for. to do that, and I went to Strathclyde University to live in Glasgow. So
Wow.
that's where I actually ended up. And to get my job, I actually was it was through the course. The university was approached by a chap called Arthur Mabbett, who was looking for people for his new fledgling consultancy that has just been established a few years before and had gone through some quite significant change and needed new staff. And I was one of three people who went forwards and got interviewed, and I was the lucky one to get the job. So from there, I've pretty much built my career really in environmental consultancy.
Fantastic, and obviously being supported throughout your career, being there for 25 years must be an absolute amazing place to be. So, what's your favourite part about your job?
I think the favourite part of my job is pretty common with lots of people who work in my sector and in consultancy, especially because we just love the variety. You get so much variety, so much engagement with people, so much engagement with different sectors. I mean, aerospace all the way through to manufacturing, or it could be a university that you're working with, or it could be another public body. It could be an engineering company. It could be so many different things they're actually working with. We're working with forestry companies. So many. The
Fantastic.
variety is amazing. It is really good.
Variety is the
So
spice of life.
it is, and but it keeps you fresh and it keeps you challenged. And we always have this phrase, which is every day is a school day.
Love
So
it.
every day we're always learning. I may have worked 25 years in Mabbett in this sector, but we're still learning, and it's a very fast growing sector and a fast changing one. So we're all learning so much more. So that I mean that's amazing. And in terms of the environmental work that we do, it's everything, Mel, from it could be I think you've talked to one of my colleagues as well on compliance. It could be like making sure that we're meeting the law. We're looking at pollution prevention. We're looking at trying to help with cleanup. We're looking at trying to manage your environmental aspects and impacts on a site. How are you managing the things which you know that could cause damage, or how are you enhancing those that can bring a positive benefit as well?
Mhm.
So things that I've done like resource efficiency, like helping reduce waste, water, energy, um, through to circular economy, like helping businesses think differently about using
Amazing.
less materials and making things last. There's just so many different interesting areas. I mean, we've helped companies in the Middle East with energy management.
Wow.
We've done a lot of fun stuff like through remote access as well. So, like through the pandemic, we had to innovate quite a lot in how we were supporting
Yes, yes.
companies. And we also deliver a lot of training, and I love doing the training because it's you get as much from your trainees sometimes as you're
Okay.
delivering out. And one of the really cool things is when trainees then go on into their own organizations and they start to make change. And they are then becoming the change makers then for the future and
Yeah.
developing their own careers as well in STEM.
Wow. Honestly, the amazing work that you're doing at Mabbott is, I mean, you just mentioned so much there. This is just a short chat. So it does sound like fantastic work that you're doing. What was your first job?
So my first job was actually washing my auntie's car, which was
I love it.
which was
Everyone's got
a
to start somewhere.
a fabulous money earner for me. So that was £3.50 a week, which I would get for doing that, and you get 50p extra for doing inside as well. But it was really useful by way of teaching me about resource efficiency and how you have certain processes in the ways that you do things,
Yeah.
so that you start you could looking at how you use your water, so you're not using too much water and you still getting a really good finish. So I think it was a very good grounding. And considering that
It's
my
a school
pocket money,
day.
Mel,
Every day's a school day.
I know exactly, but considering my pocket money, Mel, at the time
Yeah.
was like 50p a week, it
Yeah.
was like that was a very big money earner for me.
I love it.
So
Entrepreneurial spirit. I love it. So if you could give young Geraldine a piece of advice, knowing everything that you know today and the journey that you've been on, what piece of advice would you give her?
So I would be try to be encouraging to say that you are actually right, and to believe that there is actually a career path in environment and it is coming. It may not be there now, and that sort of just about 4 years that I spent in kind of a limbo land of not
Yeah.
really kind of getting the opportunity that I wanted and could really work with. It was worth persisting with that. So really, I mean, 25, 30 years ago, there just wasn't this sector that there is now. Now it is burgeoning. There is so many opportunities. There are so many opportunities in this sector. And the climate emergency, it needs good technical people. You need lots of variety of different people with different backgrounds, and STEMs are a really key part of it. And you need people who can communicate, need people who can influence others' behavior. So everything that you are doing by way of
Mhm.
grabbing every opportunity, this is the advice I would give, is that is helping you to deliver what you will do in future, which is really important to stick with it and, believe in your dreams. And it's so important to kind of influence others' behavior to decarbonize as well. And so today, if I was giving advice today, it would be, study, build your network of contacts, and talk to others in roles, ask for opportunities to maybe get in, kind of shadow you for some work, ask questions and actually listen as well. And find what you're good at, where are your strengths, and persist with it, and persist with your goals, and just take, every opportunity to really learn, and you'll get there.
Yeah, that's amazing advice. A lot of advice in there, but like such good advice. What would be your dream job?
Really interesting question. I'm working in what I love, and that is fantastic, and that is, I think, a really sweet spot that everyone should be aiming for. But I think my dream job would be to be the curator for the Museum of Climate Change. So
Wow.
that's really thinking into the future. Will there be a time where people on the planet don't know, or they need to be taught about what climate change is and was, and because we've solved it?
Yeah.
And I think that would be an amazing job and something to aim for.
So thank you so much for joining us today, and congratulations again on your 25 years at Mabbett. Thank you,
Thank you very
Geraldine.
much.
Have an awesome day.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Bye.